Welcome back, Summoners. Today, we are going to talk about how you start a game, score points, and end a game, hopefully win it. There's been a lot of questions about it. Hopefully we can clear some of the confusion. We're going to jump right into it. At the start of a game, each player separates their champion legend and their chosen champion and places it in their respective zones. After revealing, you're going to shuffle up both your deck and your rune deck and offer them to your opponent to cut. Once your decks are efficiently randomized, then comes choosing a battlefield. In a best of one, this is done randomly. So both players will present all three face down, and you will choose a way to decide what battlefield you are playing. Whether that be having the opponent choose one of yours at random, rolling dice, just some way to make it random. In a best of three or a match, you will actually decide what battlefield you are going to use after presenting your deck for the cut. So you will already know the legend and the chosen champion. From there, we can make our decision on a battlefield, and then after each game, that battlefield will no longer be able to be chosen, and we'll have to choose from the other two that we did not use in game one. After your battlefields have been chosen, it's time to determine turn order using any fair random method agreed on by all players. After turn order is decided, it's time to resolve mulligans. Both players will look at 4 cards, and then starting with the player who is going first, they will decide how many cards they are going to put back. If you put back more than one, you still have to offer it to your opponent to potentially cut and randomize. After mulligans are resolved, the first player is going to channel 2 runes, draw a card, and start their turn. After passing to player 2, they will channel 3 runes because they are going second and will also draw a card at the start of their turn. On all turns after turn 1, both players will only be channeling 2 runes. You don't get an extra rune just for going second every turn. So now that we've got the game started, how do we win? Well, there's a few ways to score points in this game. A player scores in one of 2 ways. The first being conquering. A player gains control of a battlefield they did not yet score this turn. That's called a conquer. The second being a hold, which is where a player maintains control of a battlefield during their beginning phase. A player may only score from either method once per battlefield per turn. And when a player scores, 2 things occur. The player earns up to 1 point, depending on their current score, triggers score abilities at the battlefield that scored, conquer abilities trigger at a battlefield that were conquered, hold abilities trigger at a battlefield that were held. Now this also has had a little bit of confusion. If you've already held a battlefield this turn, moving a unit back to base and moving a different unit back to that battlefield does not count as a conquer because you have already scored and controlled that battlefield this turn. So now that we know how to score points, how do we win the game? In order to win any game of Riftbound, a player must get to 8 points. The final point has additional restrictions. When a player tries to earn a point through a score and their current point total is 1 point from the victory score, the following occurs. If the player is scored through hold, that player scores the final point and wins the game. If the player has scored through a conqueror and has scored every battlefield through either method this turn, that player scores the final point and wins the game. If the player has scored through a conqueror and has not scored every battlefield this turn, that player draws a card. Notably, points earned from sources that are not conquer or hold are not beholden to these restrictions. So alternative win cons are possible. Cards such as Tryndamere or the battlefield the Grand Plaza, or even a mill out that gives your opponent an extra point could win them the game. So now you know how to start, play, and win games of Riftbound, and I hope that you found it helpful. I wanted to add something a little special to this video. We know that product has been really hard to get your hands on, especially here in the United States. So here at True Champion Gaming, we are going to be giving away a box of Origins, the first set of Riftbound. So if you want to put your name in the ring to get that box of Origins, use the link in the description to join in on this giveaway. The winner will be announced on November 27th. Thank you so much for hanging out and checking this video out, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.